Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Does Your Practice Need the Internet? The Evolution of Digital Marketing as part of the LTRC Industry Insights series. Our speaker today is Ben Fiandaca, the Senior Vice President of Sales at Scorpion. With over a decade in digital marketing and technology industry, Ben provides clients with customized solutions that allow them to grow their firms. Today, Ben specializes in solutions that help personal injury firms attract more cases from the internet and is often educating attorneys on best practices for case acquisition at conferences such as AAJ and Mass Torts Made Perfect. Thank you for joining us. We'll now begin the webinar.
Good morning, and thank you for being a part of our series here about the evolution of digital marketing. We're going to explore whether your practice needs the internet and what being online actually means. During the presentation, I want to talk a little bit about kind of what is the minimum that is expected of you as a law firm, a little bit about what is available, and lastly, what you should be doing based upon the type of practice that you are, and then we will wrap it up with some questions. So getting into it, just a little bit more about me. I'm Ben Fiandaca. I've been working with law firms for over 10 years, and my role is really to build a strategy for law firms based upon the type of practice they are, their goals and expectations online. So, I've seen a great many varieties of approaches online based upon the types of audiences they really want to be in front of. And it can range from kind of a credibility piece, verifying that they are a law firm, that they exist, to a proactive awareness, creating, seeking potential clients and helping them understand their situation and how they could benefit from working with, one of my clients in a law firm. So getting into it, there are many different ways for firms to use the internet today. I regularly speak with firms that are trying to answer what role should the website play in the process of getting new clients. Very often the best approach for some firms are not what they initially think. Search engines have come a long way. So certainly when you look back on the evolution of, say, Google, which is probably the most talked about, we've gone from SEO and content-driven strategies to where now, the majority of the results that you first see on a search engine like Google are going to be advertising. So there's very little or no secret as far as what's available to firms that want to get online, that want to market online. You can advertise, you can be there locally within, what we call high intent searches, which is someone going to a search engine like Google and searching specifically for a law firm seeking help. So SEO, advertising, and then of course there are many other different channels. So older strategies, and one of the things I talk about a lot, older strategies such as blogging your way to the top, they just don't have as much relevance anymore due to the fact that we have a dwindling attention span online. Certainly consumers, people that are seeking the help of law firms, a great majority of them are going to choose which they find are the best fit in a very, very short research cycle. And also, what has happened was there has just been an overemphasis on the creation of content, and Google has adjusted its algorithm, which is what makes the determination of what is relevant in their results based upon the quality and interaction of content. So, older strategies of blogging for the sake of blogging, it just doesn't work as much anymore due to the fact that Google knows if people are engaging with your content as opposed to just seeing that you are producing it an example. So, for instance, a great example of, a firm that received a case from the internet, which turned out to be, within the realm of personal injury and a commercial vehicle and a wrongful death case. The woman who was looking to hire had spent a longer time than most, kind of bucking the trend, doing research and looking at about half a dozen different websites, and she was looking at various factors such as the length of time that these firms have been in practice, a lot of their verdicts. One of the most visited pages on a website other than the home page are verdicts and settlements and the attorney bios. So ultimately, over the span of a couple of days, having looked at half a dozen websites, having looked through advertising, having looked through local results, she chose my client based upon the videos and feeling a connection to that firm, by being able to see them speak, being able to get a feel for them. So ultimately, this website was reflective of the firm, their philosophy, and served the function of getting that particular case. So we look at this experience based upon what was expected by this woman who was seeking to hire this firm, and ultimately she chose based upon the website that gave her the best feeling of a connection, of someone that was going to take care of her in this time of need. And ultimately, we have to account for this scenario as well as the scenario of the person that may just click on the first ad or first result and is ready to pull the trigger so long as that firm meets their criteria. And so, when we look at, does your firm need the internet, we want to be conscious of the fact that someone even just referred to a firm by name is going to look, and there's going to be a reflection of the firm's capabilities and abilities based upon what they initially see. So whether the site is just an online brochure, a business card, or a proactive marketing tool, when we look at how people are searching these days, the majority of them are going to come from mobile devices. So we have to have a concise message that can communicate on a much smaller aspect ratio. And typically that message has to get across, in about 3 to 5 seconds. So people that are considering hiring your firm may look at other places as well before they engage with you. So looking at things like reviews, accuracy of information, the ability to easily reach you, all of these factor in that very short attention span. And these are really the expectations of the consumer these days, whether it's consumer to the law firm or business to business. They want to be able to find what they're looking for and verify that you are a credible firm, and make it very easy to make the decision to pull the trigger. Another aspect to being online is there are numerous trusted resources online. That can be Google Small Businesses, that can be the AHA directory, others are Avo. In some cases, Yelp. Yelp has a high amount of usage amongst younger demographics because it's a way for them to verify that you're credible and people have used your service or the firm's service and gotten a positive result. In addition, another case that I saw come to a client out of the Midwest was through the Better Business Bureau, which was relevant for that market, where the search was initiated through the Better Business Bureau and then went to places like Google, and ultimately she retained that firm because of the credibility of that trusted resource vouching for the firm being listed and the information that was accurate. So, when we look at kind of what the minimum that is expected of a firm online, we don't want to ignore any legitimate resource online and make sure that every piece of information is accurate and leads back to the firm and vouches for the credibility and track record of the firm, because these are two of the bigger areas that are going to be the hiring triggers of someone who is maybe not referred to a firm directly. The reputation piece has now become a big part of our life. It's regularly used, certainly in smaller interactions or transactions, such as hiring a air condition repairman or picking a restaurant. But this can also be very, very relevant amongst younger demographics, which in 10 years will be older demographics. So when we look at what is written about a firm online, it can have a very, very big impact as to whether someone initiates contact to your firm, whether they're, whether they've been referred to you or not. And what we can't know is what has been lost due to a negative review that is out there. I see really, really good firms out there, firms that if I had a case, I would take this case to them. But because they have built, a name and a track record based upon word of mouth referral, they've neglected very basic, principles online, such as reputation. So when you look them up online, you find a couple unhappy clients that maybe their case wasn't accepted because, it wasn't a case that they could take. And the way that we are online, they chose to go online and write a negative review about this firm, even though they never really even worked with them. So this is a piece that can't be neglected. Even having one or two positive reviews from people that you've helped will do a great deal in helping to establish that credibility for people that are being referred to you, or if you're advertising, certainly, or marketing, bringing them in. So this is just a very simple piece that is just minimally expected of any firm online to show that they have helped others and that the feedback has been positive. So when we look at the bare minimum of expectation of a firm online, it's really to have an up-to-date website that reflects the areas of law that you practice, the areas of law that you're expert in, showing your track record, how long you've been doing it, the culture of the firm, as well as making sure that all information online is accurate and reflects, the firm's address, phone number, and then lastly, where possible, having some positive feedback of people that you've helped. All of these things, in my estimation and my experience, is what is expected of any firm doing business in this day and age online. The next piece is really talking a bit about what is available to you online. A firm that maybe is actively seeking to bring more of the types of cases that they like to take. So when we look, there are many, many emerging, in addition to search engines, emerging opportunities to target audiences. I'll tell you a great story. I work with a firm up in Northern California. They are a workers' compensation firm, so their cases come from, firms, people that have been injured on the job. Now, certainly Google plays a big role in that because people, ask questions, go to Google, workers' comp appeals, injured at work. But the way that the internet is going, there's a lot available to actually target out those audiences ahead of time. So we can use technology that can target maybe people that have a higher incident of on-the-job injury. Like, for instance, Tesla has the highest incident of on-the-job injury of any auto plant in the US. Well, we can target those people and they move within a certain proximity, and their cell phones are then targeted with branded advertising, which brings awareness to this firm that handles work comp cases. And so now they're bringing awareness that they know this firm's name long before they are in need. And this is just one example of audience targeting. So, part of what is available online is very much bringing awareness to your firm and bringing awareness to the fact that you handle those cases. And then, of course, the highest intent layer, is people that are actually searching to hire you because of the area of law that you practice. Now, what you should be doing, for firms that handle especially consumer-driven cases, which are the personal injury, the family law, the criminal defense. These are cases that are actively, people are actively seeking help online. What you should be doing is proactively promoting your firm and these types of cases through Google, Bing, Yahoo, Facebook. That way you are supplementing other forms of getting cases, such as, referrals, word of mouth, past clients, because this will all have the long-term effect of creating new clients that will then refer at a later date. I'll tell you a story of a firm that out of Texas that, they paid out over $20 million in referral fees to firms that had referred them the types of cases, which are maritime cases, that they like to take. Now, that's fantastic because they're very good at what they do, and other firms, have them take their cases. But the downside of that is they take all the risk. They work up those cases. They pay a great deal to litigate them, and they would love to have the ability to get more of those cases directly. So they made a heavy investment in digital marketing and being in front of those potential audiences, those that are offshore workers or oil rig workers, those types of things, so that they got more of those cases directly. And the end result is they built a very, very effective national digital marketing campaign where when those types of audiences are online asking the questions, they're going to be in that conversation. Now, that's not to say that they don't continue to take those cases that are referred to them. They do, but ultimately by making the investment of marketing proactively, they have another opportunity, another channel of getting those cases directly where, when they do sign that case, there's not going to be a huge outgoing referral cost. A lot of, digital marketing these days, and if you're working with an agency, that there is a ton that will allow you to make decisions based upon the results that you're seeing. So more and more of the advertising, the marketing, everything that you're doing online is data driven. You can know down to a city block where someone initiates a search that brings them to your website. So this can help you determine what audiences are going to be the most effective to be in front of. It can help you make decisions about, say, if you're advertising, what times of day do your clients typically search for your help? And all of these things together, and working with an agency that is transparent with this data, can help you make decisions about where that investment is getting the best return for your firm, and those audiences are online. The targeting cases online, one of the interesting statistics that we've seen is near me searches have grown 500% over the last 2 years. Really, that's a trend that comes from mobile devices. People know that when searching from mobile devices, their search engine, Google, Safari, Bing, they're going to pull results that are near them. So with that in mind, it's understanding how the different ways that people are going to search online, how you have to structure your content of your website so that all of the different various ways that search engines pick up the relevance of your firm, they deliver you as a result. And then another factor is that, in the next couple of years, Google projects that voice searches will make up half of all searches that take place just because of the convenience of that. So now we have a different strategy of how to create content based upon, how people will vocally ask questions as opposed to typing them. One of the things that I see a lot is that there are constant changes in the market as far as how it can affect firms, how they're seen online, how local bar rules will affect firms advertising online. Working with an agency or a partner that is on top of these and that can quickly adapt how the firm is presenting itself, how you're advertising or marketing is vitally important due to the fact that this can create a problem or get you in trouble based upon these various changes that can occur in the market and disrupt it. One of the things that I'm seeing a great deal of, for instance, with Google Small Business, which is the local result that you see, is Google is more and more is flagging addresses that are not valid addresses where they're, for instance, virtual offices, shared offices, so we have proactively removed a lot of those from our clients' accounts so that they are not affected by that change to Google. Making sure that your messaging is effective. You know, when you have a very short attention span, being able to credibly show why, you know, you're uniquely suited to help their case is important, and an ongoing role with a marketing agency to test that approach and messaging is important, because you have the ability with websites to adjust and change based upon the feedback that you're getting rather than staying static. So, you know, if you're going to proactively approach cases online, it is important that you actually, you know, that you actually test different messaging, that you have the reporting, and that everything is going to be effective. So, you know, kind of as a summary to everything that I've just talked about, you know, the real minimum that is expected of you is a credible website and online brochure that reflects your track record, your accomplishments based upon the area of law that you take, and all the information that's available or that is managed so that people can easily find you. You know, what is available is there's a great deal of specific audiences that you can create a brand or awareness to your firm through by marketing through, say, social media, other forms like display advertising, so that you can proactively get in front of people that are very likely to need your services. And then, of course, you know, what you should be doing is proactively, if your firm is driven by, you know, consumer types of practice areas, you should be proactively getting in front of them, you know, people that are making high intent searches online for the type of law that you practice, that you should be in front of them, and with a great message, with an approach that shows that you're uniquely suited to handle their case. So, you know, a couple things that I want to throw in here is really what's expected from an agency that can assist your firm in doing this. I would say that experience, understanding the legal industry as opposed to other areas of advertising online, and then, you know, a great partnership has collaboration and transparency into results, into what they are doing to help promote your firm. You know, when you begin working with that type of agency, there should be some expectation of what results that you're looking to achieve online, and that can be in the form of leads. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think it comes down to, you know, new cases, new clients that come from the efforts that you're investing in and getting in front of. You know, what else does it take to win online? I think, you know, combining a great story with a proactive approach online, so that you are in front of people, that you're getting in front of audiences that are going to be most receptive to your message, to your help, and in evaluating a partner to work with, that's important. And lastly, you know, at the end of the day, to make sure that all of this is getting you what you want, which is new clients, you know, there are multiple ways of tracking this, and knowing that every resource or budget that is spent online can be tracked back to what the firm is getting from it, from the phone calls to everything, to the amount of exposure, so that you know that, hey, based upon this, when we make this investment as a firm, the end result is that we get this number of new phone calls, and those phone calls turn into cases. So in conclusion, I hope that this gives more insight as to really, as a law firm doing business in this day and age, what's really expected of you to be found, to be credible online, what's available to you. If you want to, as a firm, supplement, you know, how you get your cases, then there is an opportunity to proactively be online, because there is a great number of people that are online seeking most likely your types of services, and they want to make sure that they're picking a partner that is very knowledgeable, that has a great track record, and that other people have used. And then lastly, what you should be doing is, if you're in any area of law that is, say, consumer driven, that is, you know, your client come from, you know, transactional types of relationships, you should be proactively promoting your firm so that they find you directly and you're getting cases that way.
Okay, well, that concludes our questions section. That's all the time that we have for today. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Scorpion, and all of you for attending our webinar today as part of the LTRC Industry Insights series. I'd also like to thank Ben for presenting today. We will now conclude the webinar.
Thank you very much.